Welcome to a day in the life of a horse at Running Springs. We are focusing on the brood mares today. So this is the 9 pregnant mares who are going to be foaling in 2026. So first thing we do in the morning, it's about 7:30, is we feed them. So let's go to the feed room.
It's a long walk.
This handy dandy glamorous feed room, okay? We've got some whiteboards, we've got schedules, there's some like little bit of like first aid stuff in here. In the other tack room we have more of our like wound care, but there's like dewormer and electrolytes and ulcer guard and a lot of things that would go in their food in here. We've got all of our different grains. Obviously, if you have followed me on socials for a while, you know I feed Tribute Equine Nutrition. So we feed the Essential K, we feed the Synergize grain, and the Resolve grain, depending on the needs of the horse. And so a lot of my brood mares that were trying to gain weight, so like especially my thoroughbred recip mares who might have been like a little bit on like the leaner side, they get the Synergize, which is a higher fat content. And then the rest of my mares usually get the Resolve with Essential K as like a little bit of like a mineral booster. So we go through here, we have all these buckets. Generally when we're feeding everybody, they'll put the grain in. We have some supplements as well. So we have salt to make sure they're drinking. We've got an EquiThrive joint supplement. We've got a hoof supplement, a Meprazole. There's also a colt grower for my weanlings from DAC. There's a bunch of different things. Regimate. You're seeing like real life messiness. This was not cleaned up for this video. Like this is what it just normally looks like. And so we have everybody's chart over here. So for instance, Happy, right here, stall 14, she gets 1 scoop of Resolve, a 1/4 scoop of Essential K, 1 pump of DAC oil, and then 2 scoops of colt grower in the morning. So our pregnant mares and our weanlings get that colt grower so that they're all getting all of those essential nutrients and minerals, all the things. So anyway, we have a couple of these made up. Most of everyone's been fed already, just for the sake of timing. So let's go feed the last few pregnant mares, which are downstairs, and then we'll turn them outside. So all of our stalls have this well, I say all of them. We're doing construction upstairs, so a lot of them are just panels, but our normal stalls have these little windows, and then you just dump their food right in.
So they're all pre-filled already.
They're all stacked in the right order.
Wow. That takes a lot of organization, low key.
And like I said, generally you'd be going down this entire line feeding everyone in order. And that's not the case today because of saving time. So we're just feeding the rest of the pregnant mares that are down here. And then we're gonna take them outside once they're finished eating. Hi, Lexi. Want some food?
Breakfast.
Go eat your breakfast. Everybody else is eating their breakfast.
We're distracted.
She doesn't want to be watched. Okay, come here then. You're not Trudy. What are you doing in Trudy's stall? So we actually just rearranged stalls, and I'll tell you why. So right now is October 2nd. So we are getting into that time of season. We just swapped to daytime turnout because it's getting cooler at night. The days are getting shorter. It's getting darker out. So naturally, these brood mares are fine, but my mares who are open, who are going to be bred early in 2026, they are going to start shutting down, meaning their cycles are going to slow down. They're going to stop building follicles. They're going to stop ovulating. They're not going to have full cycles for breeding. And so we've swapped them around to where the pregnant mares are in stalls that their lights turn off at like 5. So they have a full night of being in darkness because we're not trying to trick them. We're not trying to trick them into thinking that they need to cycle because they're already pregnant. But our mares who are open that we were hoping to breed in like February, March, when it's still going to have those short days, we are keeping them under lights for 16 hours a day. So it turns on at 6 a.m., goes off at I think 11 p.m.
Kirby.
And so it tricks them into thinking that it's still summer so that their body keeps cycling, so that they don't shut down, and so they're ready to breed in February and March. So we just did
just regular lights?
So they have to be some kind, hold on. Yeah, so I wanted to say this, so they have to be fluorescent or incandescent.
Okay.
So we have fluorescent lights. So they have to stay on, trick their body. We can breed them early in the year. So these two are pregnant, Indy's pregnant, everybody else down here is not, so they have lights, they don't. We're probably gonna re-swap around a little bit so that this whole thing cannot be on lights, but this time of year, no one stays in their stall very long because we're constantly swapping out for who's going to be like having their baby next. They go to the big stall, yada, yada, yada. And it's even worse with the construction going on right now. But anyway, we're letting them finish eat, and then we're gonna go turn all the pregnant mares outside. I think Happy and Phoebe are done upstairs, so we could probably go ahead and start with them. Okay, we're gonna take you and Miss Ricky outside. Once we get out there and all the mares are out there, I do want to point out how many days pregnant everybody is, because this is all about the brood mares. Their day isn't super eventful. They just kind of get fed and go outside and come back in. There are a few things that happen throughout the week that we'll get into later. But Happy, let's go outside. You're ready. Happy mismatched bell boots. We go through bell boots like candy here. Like if I could get a bell boot sponsor only who just sends me 100 bell boots a month, I think we would still go through them.
What, do they just tear them up with their heels?
Yeah, they just lose them, and that's the purpose of them. Like so that if they clip their foot, the back of their foot, they clip the bell boot instead of their shoe or, you know, their heel bulb. You don't want them to cut themselves. You don't want them to rip their shoe off. But we try our best to find them all out in the pasture. But I mean,
Big pasture.
sometimes it just doesn't happen. Charlotte and Maggie are already out here because Charlotte was having a temper tantrum. Charlotte, you stay over there. You're not needed.
Right
Hold on
behind
one
Ricky.
Let her leave. All right.
Go, Happy, go, Happy, go, Happy, go.
Oh, Happy. And there's Ricky. And then Lexi comes out here as well, and then we'll do the ones that are in the front.
Always lock the gate.
So we can talk about the things that sometimes happen during the week. So if we were filming this tomorrow, then a part of Charlotte's schedule would be massage. So if Charlotte were, you know, part of her daily routine sometimes is having a massage. I have a massage therapist come out once a week. She doesn't do every horse. She only does a few that I think would benefit from it. So she massages Charlotte and Ginger. They're both two of my more nervous mares who, for their own reasons, you know, I have seen such benefit with someone positively just touching their body super often. And not that we don't groom them and not that we don't, you know, handle them daily, but she gets in there. You know what I'm saying? Like she's touching all over their bodies. And especially for Charlotte, who is a kill pin horse, who is now a recip mom. This is going to be her first baby. It's super important to me that she is used to us being everywhere on her body. So that's been super beneficial. Today, the farrier's coming. So some of them, not all of them, but some of them are getting their feet done today. They're getting their shoes, they're getting their hooves trimmed. So that's also happening. And then sometimes our non-pregnant mares will get PEMF treatment, which is pulse electromagnetic field therapy. So we do that on non-pregnant horses. There's not enough studies out there to show if it's okay for pregnant mares, so we don't. And then the pregnant mares at this point in their pregnancy, they're pretty much being left alone. Sometimes I ride my pregnant mares. Ricky's one of them that I do that. At this point, we're in October. She's due in February. We're kind of at the point where they're getting big and fat and happy. At this point in their life and at this point of the pregnancy, it's a pretty uneventful, chill day, which I don't think is a bad thing.
Yeah, they're taking it easy.
Yeah.
Look how crazy they are.
They're in a line. It's line for the water.
This may be the most polite I've ever seen them.
By the way, just because I know someone's gonna say it, Happy can be obese and you will see her ribs. That's just the way she's built. It just is. So she is not underweight. She's fine.
I don't know. I can see her ribs.
We have yet to put all of the mares together yet. This is kind of like the nice mare side, and that's kind of like the more attitude-y mare side. I think they're going to be fine, honestly, but it's only been about a week since we changed around everyone's pastures, so we're going to give it probably another week before we try. So yeah, Lexi's on her way.
Am I house sitting next week for you? The 12th through the 20th.
Did I tell you we got a Sophie embryo?
No.
It's
Like
not
a-
a Palomino.
It's not a, it could be buckskin. Don't be so ungrateful.
And it's a boy.
It is a boy. I will take what I can get at this point.
That's right.
I forgot to test for the agouti or the cream gene, which are like the two, no, the cream or the roan gene. So all we did was the red factor or agouti when we tested her embryo. So it basically told us if she's red based or if he's red based or bay based. All we know is he's bay based. So he could be bay, bay roan, buckskin, or buckskin roan.
I think he's buckskin roan.
He's not in anybody yet.
Oh. I retract.
They're like gossiping at the water like they do every morning.
It's like at the morning
The
office
morning water
at the
trough.
watering can. You're like filling up your little bottles, and you're like, hey, how's your weekend? Did it go good?
This is like
Okay, so before we go bring the other mares out, and we're focusing on these girls, let me go through and tell you how many days pregnant they all are. I wrote it all down because we're getting there. These are, let's see.
it's sneaking up on us.
Yeah, 2 of these mares are due earlier, and then a couple of these are a little bit later. The earliest mares are in the front pasture. We'll get to them here in a bit. Miss Ricky, who is the first bay butt you see. I don't know if you can. He's not gonna know who's who. She's the right one. Miss Ricky, yes. Ricky is 211 days pregnant. So 340 days is their like due date. 320 days is their safe date. Ricky, this is her first baby, so we have no clue what she's gonna do. In my experience, I've had maidens go early and I've had maidens go overdue. So I don't think there's really a trend there. I think if anything, early is a trend for maidens. I usually have 1 or 2 maidens per year. This year I have, I think, a lot.
I'm thinking like 337.
337? Okay,
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that, fully cooked. So, Raven's 211 days. Her due date is in February. And then Charlotte, this tall gray drink of water right here, she's at 208 days pregnant. She's a recip carrying for Trudy. And then Lexi, which is this Palomino little gal, she's at 180 days today. She's also a recip. Maggie, which is the smaller bay, 151 days. And then Happy, which is this red lady drinking right here, she's 150 days. So we're getting along. Like the fact that we are going to be on foal watch within the next 2.5 months.
Kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy. Where's her? Oh, she's got her halter on. What am I doing?
I had them already, but then I took the lead ropes off.
What is the halter of shame?
That is for, so it started with Annie, actually with her first pregnancy. But I started calling it the halter of shame because when I would check her milk, excuse me, that's straw. That's straw. When I would check her milk, she would try to like kick me. And so I would have to put a halter on her. And if I had a halter on her, she was fine. Like I would tie her up and to like check her and look all over her. And so it just became the halter of shame. If anyone needs a halter when you're like messing with them, because generally our horses are nice enough that like we can go do whatever with them just in their stall. So anyway,
So it's not a specific halter.
no, it's embroidered. It says halter of shame.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
We don't have to use that halter. It was just a funny thing that we got sent in the P.O. box.
Yeah.
And it's funny. So every now and then, if they're being naughty, they get the halter of shame. Indy, you're so patient.
Yeah, she's pregnant.
Like 2 of these mares are so pregnant. Like I think Raven's like 241 days today. We'll get into that.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Go base some more.
Dale, nice horse.
Thank
She's
you
fat.
so much.
So out of these mares, because Miss Raven is our first one due in 2026, she's also a recip mare. Raven is 231 days. Indy, 213 days. And then Annie and Phoebe are a little bit later in the season. So Annie's 150 days, just like Happy, they have the same due date. And then Phoebe is 153 days. So we're gonna have to end up meshing everyone together.
So
But
Annie's last.
Annie and Happy, we'll see. It's probably gonna be Annie because she usually goes
She goes long.
a little bit longer. Hi, honey. Well, I actually think so, because even though she's due a few days before, she had her baby in like the late 320s. So Annie historically goes to her due date or over. So, and so does Indy. A few of these mares I don't know. So, I mean, I know this is supposed to be the day in the life of these mares, but they just don't really do much. Like, I
This
keep
is what they
talking
do.
because they just, that's what they're gonna do for the next 8 hours. They're just gonna graze and hang out.
Some do it there, some do it there,
Some go get a drink.
some do it here.
Some get a drink a few times.
Some
do it
might,
there.
They might go have a Zoom. They might go have a little short
Probably
Zoom.
not though.
Not more
Sometimes.
than one.
Probably not.
At this stage of their pregnancy, not more than one Zoom per day.
I mean, they're still just standing out there.
Yeah, they haven't
Um,
gone very far.
But like, I think out of all these mares, because these are now all 9 of the mares that will be foaling in 2026, I've foaled out
All of them except
5 out of
I
9.
thought you were talking about these 4.
So we have the maidens, meaning this is their first baby ever, are Charlotte and I think Lexi. I can't say that for sure. And Ricky. So we have 3 maidens. And then as far as like, there's a few mares that this is only their second baby. So like Raven, this is only her second baby. Maggie, I think this is her 3rd. I think this is Phoebe's 3rd. So the only like, I don't know, veterans, like they know what they're doing. That's like Indy.
Yeah.
And honestly, Indy's like the one that's had more than 3 babies. I don't think anybody else in here. Like Annie's on her 3rd, Happy's on her 3rd. Yeah, none of these are super like, you know, been there, done that broodmares. They're all kind of younger.
Is there a way to know if they're a maiden if you don't know?
Usually you can do a breeding exam with your vet, and if their hymen is intact, generally that
Okay.
means that they have not had a baby. You can also just look at their uterus and their cervix and all that kind of stuff, and generally speaking, you
Make
can
an
tell if they've had one.
educated guess.
It's not going to be 100%, but
cool.
all right. That's about what they do right now. Like I said, they throughout, you know, they might get groomed. Grooming is
Yeah.
something, so you know, you might notice that they'll have a little snarl in their hair, their mane, whatever, but generally speaking, we keep them pretty groomed. So if one of them has a really, really tangly mane, maybe once a week they'll get their mane tangled out. It's not something we do daily, really. They'll get brushed off, they'll get their hooves picked out. Their hooves do get picked out super often. But yeah, at this point in their pregnancy,
Chill.
that's about all they do. So, all right, it is now around 8:30. We'll see you at 4.
8 hours later.
And now it's 4 o'clock, and they are literally standing here begging to come in because they know they're going into some grain. They know what's there. Joke's on them though. I'm gonna feed on camera. So generally we will dump feed in prior to bringing in so that the food is just there. They get hay, they get water, they get alfalfa, they get their grain. I'm gonna show y'all just like the making process on camera, and they're gonna be disappointed. But we'll just start bringing in. As you can see, they just like chilled all day. You know, a lot of people requested like a day in the life of a horse at Running Springs, and I feel like this is gonna be a boring video, but also I think it highlights, they kind of have it made. Like they get fed, they go out. If they need grooming, they get groomed. If they need their hooves done, they get their hooves done. If they need a massage, some of them get massaged. Sometimes they get chiropractic. Like there's just, you know, a few days a week that they get something extra, but generally they eat, they go out, they eat some more. They might poop some, they might do a couple zoomies. They have friends.
Maybe
Maybe some zoomies. And then they come in and they eat again. And then they just kind of chill until they do it all over again. So let's bring these girls in. All right, Phoebe. She's ready. They walk in a whole lot faster than they walk out.
Oh yeah. Little pep in the step.
Phoebe, ears back, just ready for the grain that's not there. She's gonna be so mad. Cool. I know. Just look at her. She's like,
Where is it? Where is it?
where is it? I'll make it. All right, they're bringing in, I'm gonna just go ahead and start making grain. So, feed room. So we'll just do Phoebe, Happy, and Annie really quick, which is just 3. So I'm gonna make Annie's feed really quick. I'll just show you kind of like what we do, right? So Annie's right here on the feed chart. She gets 2 Synergize. So again, this is like the higher fat content of the grains that we feed from Tribute.
1.
Everything we feed is Tribute. So she gets 2 scoops of that, and then she gets a half a scoop of Essential K. So all of our mares get Essential K. All of our almost everybody gets Essential K, honestly.
It's essential, okay?
It is essential. Right in there. And then she gets 1 pump of DAC oil. She gets a little extra because I didn't mean to. And then just Protozil. So Annie has EPM. Rachel brought up a good point that we go by scoops, but how we did it, since Tribute does go off of like a weight system of like what you should feed your horse, and when they give you a feed plan, they're going to tell you how many pounds per day to feed your horse. We kind of weighed out the scoops and then figured out based on scoops. It was just easier for that factor to tell people how to feed, because there's multiple people that feed per week. So that's how we have it written down.
So if it was 2.5 scoops is the right weight,
Yes.
you do 2.5 scoops.
Yes. So she gets like a little bit. This pellet is $600. This is $600. This thing is, and
That tub?
this tub is $600. It's Protozil. So she gets this for her EPM, and we've cut her back to where she only gets a small dose because she doesn't need a full dose. She probably doesn't honestly need this, like the whole thing, because she's been pretty much in remission for so long, but it would, you know,
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
kind of like, it makes me feel better that she gets it.
Well, if it's already fixed, don't break. Go on.
Anyway, so Happy and Phoebe. Phoebe is a bit of a easy keeper, so she gets half of Essential and then a quarter of Resolve, which is over here. And then she gets the Colt Grower in the morning, not in the afternoon.
So less grain.
I mean, the Colt Grower is just like a mineral. This
Well,
is the
no,
Colt
the-
Grower. Oh yeah, she gets way less.
A lot less, yeah.
That's why it's all very tailored to the
Each
situation. The situation. Happy's in the middle. Happy gets 1 Resolve, a quarter of Essential. So, 1 Resolve
In.
in. Essential. She gets DAC oil, and then she gets the Colt Grower in the morning.
Colt grower.
This is super important. This is the most important step when mixing your feed. You use a 20-something-year-old boot pull.
Okay.
We've been using this 20-something years, honestly, and that just does nice little zhuzh when you got that DAC oil in there, you want to get it on everything. When you got their meds in there, some of them get like a powdered, you know, something or other, whether it be omeprazole, whether it be a mineral, whatever. And so you just want to make sure it's all nice and mixed up. So anyway, Phoebe's on top, Annie's on the bottom. They're right here. Molassesy, smells it. Hi, darling. I know I made you wait. That's just terrible. Happy's not in yet, so she's gonna be excited. Annie Banani. You get so much food because you deserve it. Ah, hey. Chill out. She is me, I am her. A shameless plug at the end of this. I've got to give them some treats as well every single day, especially the new KVS Tribute Caramel Apple.
That's you.
Wholesome Blend treats. This isn't Trudy. I'm sorry. You're like the off-brand Trudy. That's Maggie. But she gets the treats, so she doesn't care. But these are limited supply, so if you would like to go shop them, they will have the link in the description. Hopefully they haven't sold out by the time this video has come up. They'll be available at Congress. They're available in select feed stores who have ordered them, so you can go on the website and check and see if your local feed store has them. But we would love to see videos of you giving treats to your horses or donkeys, your equine friends. Tag me in them, mention me in them on TikTok. We'd love to feature them on the Catching It with Katie, but you don't get more. You just had like 5. Charlotte gets them. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the day in the life of a Running Springs broodmare. Again, these are all the pregnant mares specifically. Honestly, it's not a very different schedule for anybody else. Like sometimes some of them get ridden, sometimes some of them get a little more done with them. But these girls, their whole job is to just chill out and cook a healthy little baby in there. So you took them all. I'm now out, okay? I'm sorry. Hope you enjoyed. Again, if I had to come back as an animal, I wouldn't mind coming back as one of my broodmares, honestly. But let me know if you have any questions or what other types of videos that you're curious to see here on the channel. And again, go check out my new Treats with Tribute. Hi, Charlotte.